Monday, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Water Cooler. I am Sarah in Texas. If you love reality TV gossip and all things Jeff Lewis, you are in the right place. So welcome. Get comfortable in comments. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to comment. We love to hear what you think. Why is my head so high up on this YouTube channel? That is going to drive me nuts. Anyways, okay, I'm going to ignore that. We have so much to talk about, so let's get started with shout out news. We are going to chat about Andy Cohen and the breaking news that happened during Andy Cohen Live. Shout out as he was talking about his son Ben's tip of his penis from his, is it called bris? I think that's what it's called. I'm going to say that wrong. I know it's not brie like the cheese. His bris. Anyways, and how he didn't want Page 6 to pick that up. Don't worry, I picked it up. We're going to talk, of course, that Kelly Dodd talked about this morning, that she was going to reconcile, I guess, and have lunch with Shannon Beador later this week, which now we know all bets are off. No telling what's going on there. Brandi and Julie, I made a story about it this weekend. Their Dumb Gay podcast, because it's not called Dumb Gay Politics anymore. And then, of course, Roni and the Aaron Uba push. I don't even know what you call it. I guess she just ripped her eyeglasses off. Whatever. It was super unnecessary, if you ask me. And of course, the Shannon Beador arrest of it all that happened. We just learned about it this morning, which I'm kind of disappointed that we just learned about it this morning. Like, what the hell? It happened Saturday night. Today is Monday freaking morning. Okay, so let's get started. So Andy Cohen today on Andy Cohen Live, he always tells us a bit more than I think John Hill really wants to hear. John doesn't have kids, but he was kind of telling us that he had a rough weekend, it sounded like, with his son, Ben. He had a great weekend with his daughter, Lucy. He even posted some videos of her, and he talks about his bris. So that happens 8 days after the son is born. Ben is now 4.5 years old. It's frozen. The tip of his penis is frozen in the freezer. I don't know if that's normal. He didn't exactly say what it's there for, but it sounded almost like it was a joke that just kind of kept going. Then he joked about that he was going to have it at his son, at Ben's wedding, and be like, hey, and here's, the tip of your penis. Everyone says it's not normal. So I don't know. To me, I related it, I guess, to people that save their placenta and like drink it, eat it, put it in a smoothie, plant it under a tree, something like that. I don't know. Who knows? Okay, on the Rick and Kelly show, clearly they always record their show the night before. So last night was Sunday, recording for today. Kelly either didn't know about Shannon Beador's arrest, which I'm kind of shocked since it happened in Newport Beach, where they all live. Even she said today that Shannon, actually, her rental house is even closer. They're neighbors almost, as Kelly said it. So I'm sure word would go very fast in this arrest. Whoever's house she hit, is that person just quiet? Does she not know? I don't know. I've got so many questions. Okay, so Kelly says on today's show, matter of fact, the title of the Rick and Kelly show is something about, an update about her and Shannon Beador. She basically goes into that Jeff Lewis had a talk with Shannon Beador and said, hey, I really wish I could get. So Shannon texted Kelly and said, hey, I really miss you. I really miss our friendship. We had so much fun together. And then it comes on that they're going to have lunch on this week. So I'd reported that over the weekend because somebody had sent me 2 screenshots where Jeff and Kelly had confirmed that information themselves. So I already knew it was for sure. Anyways, which I'm kind of jealous that Jeff DMs people back in like full on freaking sentences. Yes, so he does read his DMs, y'all. Anyways, but Kelly definitely didn't know about this because I don't think she could have said this with a straight face with something as serious as a DUI and a hit and run. And now we find out from Jeff Lewis that Shannon is indeed injured. So he didn't say the details, but more on that in a little bit. Anyways, but there's definitely no love lost between Kelly and Tamara. She keeps reaming her. I think Kelly is very happy that she and Shannon are going to be friendly again if things go well. I mean, obviously Shannon's personal stuff could get in the way of all this. And then she's already got a renewed friendship again with Vicky, and she's still on the outs with Tamara. So I think Kelly is going to be thrilled to like team up against Tamara of sorts. Let me know what you think in comments about that. I'm dying to know. Okay. Dumb gay Dumb Gay Podcast with Brandi and Julie. Thank you to the Jeff Lewis Sleuth that sent me the information on it. So their latest podcast, their free one that's out on Apple, wherever you get them, they're interviewing the lady from Pink Shade Pod. She is a friend of theirs that before they were fired, she had gone, or maybe before it was public. I think it's before they were fired. Now I'm getting that timeline messed up. Anyways, they had done the podcast with her, and that's where she had, alluded to lots more issues. Then Sirius caught wind of it, somebody asked them to edit it, so she did. Then she put the whole thing up unedited and behind a paywall to make money off of it. It was a whole thing, right? So they have her on, and Julie is very much saying, or Brandi, that, I'm embarrassed that we got fired, but they want to make it very clear that they got fired because they just received a letter last week from SiriusXM, basically trying to say that it was a mutual decision to terminate. I don't know the reason for this, but don't forget that Pola 2, when he read Jeff Lewis's coffee grinds, he mentioned the 3 volcanoes. We now assume that is Brandi and Julie and now Heather McDonald, right? The close friends that is going to be on the outs. But he also mentioned a lawsuit that Jeff was going to eventually win. So I don't know if this is actually going to come to be a lawsuit, but they definitely allude to it. I made a video, so go listen to that. And then the girl from Pink Shade Pod is like, oh yeah, I've got some unedited content where y'all talked about how this was not a mutual decision. I am assuming the reason that goes into effect is all about I don't know California laws or what their contract said at all, right? I'm assuming it has something to do with whether they can get unemployment if they were fired versus had a mutual agreement. I don't know. Yeah, a lot of you said you don't think they have a leg to stand on for a lawsuit. And what I didn't like when I heard over the weekend and saw a lot of comments underneath it was something about like them going up this big, against big SiriusXM. I understand that, and I would be leery of that too, but I never like to hear that people would, if they really believe they were wronged, that they would not go forward, and it's probably a financial decision and a professional decision, to not go up against someone so big as SiriusXM, because you probably don't think you're going to win, you're going to spend a lot of money, your reputation is going to go in the toilet. Like, I don't know. It doesn't sound good, but I can't decide if they were serious about it or just kind of blowing smoke about it. I don't know. Who knows? Okay, Roni last night. I still like it. Okay, still like it. They're still on vacation in this amazing house. Anguilla, never been. Don't even know how to get there. Don't know if there's a Southwest flight from Houston to Anguilla or not. So what do you think? Are you team Uba or are you team Aaron? Did you watch? So basically, they go out from a night out. Everything's fine. Uba and Aaron never seem to have a big problem with each other like Aaron and Bryn do, right? Although they seem to get over that nicely. But Uba apparently leaves her phone in the car and somebody calls out, so Aaron goes and gets it. Not a big deal. If you were like anybody, any of our friends, our husband, our spouses, our kids, everyone has left a phone somewhere before and you've gotten it or they've almost left it somewhere and you pick it up and kind of hide it from them, right? As a joke, just to prove to them, hey, yeah, you lost your phone and I have it. So here it is. I just wanted to see you freak out a little bit. So we already know from the beginning of the show that Uba had pushed in Aaron into the water. Not a big deal. But we know there's a history. Like, people don't like their hair messed with. Uba probably would have been pissed because she talks about wearing a weave or whatever you call it, a weave. She used the term weave, so whatever it is, on her hair that week. And that's why she didn't want to get her hair wet. So she probably would have been pissed. Just like Ramona got pissed whenever somebody splashed water on her, right? When they were on the water one time. So Erin doesn't get mad about it. She says, I grew up with 4 other siblings. We always tease each other and do this kind of thing. So it didn't bother me at all. But I'm going to get back with her and take her phone. Apparently she had it for 45 minutes or an hour. Not long. If Uba is so attached to her phone, like everyone said, and oh my God, my husband needs to reach me. My kids need to reach, my sister needs to reach me. I mean, come on, if something horrible happened, or they really needed to reach you, I'm sure everybody has production's phone number. That is not, even Sai admits, I'm addicted to my phone because I want to scroll Instagram. Just be real. That's why we want our phones, right? We want to see what's going on. We want to do that. We're not waiting on our husband or our children to call us. We're more on this long vacation with, filming a reality TV show for one thing. Anyways, but Aaron takes the phone, has it for 45 minutes to an hour. Uba goes crazy. I mean, she was so pissed off. So she rips her glasses off, and basically, I don't watch the previews, but somebody ruined it for me, which is okay. I don't watch the previews of the next week's show, though, just because there's so many, spoilers. I don't want to ruin it for myself. But I guess she then makes a timer and says, I'm going to keep your sunglasses for 45 minutes to an hour. I mean, just kind of dumb, right? Anyways, I just want to know, who do you think overreacted? Uba, or was Aaron okay with this joke? I think she didn't mean anything bad about it. I really thought it was just a fun joke that she had left her phone in the car. I think Uba overreacted. I'm sort of surprised production didn't step in. Now, I think 5 years ago, nobody would have stepped in. In 2023, when basically she's in her face saying, get out of my face, get out of my face. I am really shocked that production didn't step in. I want to see on the next episode if they actually did or not. Because I think when she touched her glasses, that is to me like they were inches from each other. It was disgusting. It reminded me over the weekend, I was watching 90 Day Fiancé, The Last Resort. If you're not watching that, don't even get started. 90 Day Fiancé is so freaking addictive. It is like a full-time job. I mean, they just keep birthing these other series. And as I'm watching this one, The Last Resort, they're promoting another one that starts October 8th. I'm like, oh my God. And they're always like 2 hours long. But anyways, on this Last Resort, thank God they're only an hour. But Angela comes after Big Ed's fiance and gets in her face. And production did step in on that one. So, as they should have. Anyways, what else? Shannon Beador. Did you see it coming? Are you surprised? I know everyone has told me there's no excuse for driving drunk because, she can afford an Uber. She can afford a Lyft. We don't know the whole situation yet. We don't even have an arrest photo. I want to see, what did she look like? Why was Archie in the car with her? Why did Jeff invite her to come out for Stu's other birthday thing in West Hollywood when she lives in Newport? I don't really know what that was. Something about she said she wasn't going to go out anywhere, but then Jeff was like, clearly she went out somewhere. We don't know any of the stories. I'm fascinated how this got muffled from Saturday night, we don't even know the time, till Monday morning. How did this story not get out until then? Also, I remembered over the weekend, I follow Shannon Beador, and I remembered a story of her holding or walking Archie. Archie wouldn't walk, so she takes the dog she throws the leash down as she's walking on this street, and Archie still doesn't come to her. So I don't remember if that was Saturday, but clearly it was before this all happened. But I remember thinking, oh, okay, we saw the pictures from Friday night. She was out with Chef Stu for his birthday, and Jeff, and Taylor Armstrong, and Taylor's husband, and then John Jansen. So we saw those pictures. Everything looked fine. Jeff even says they hung out. They had a great time. But I just thought, oh, everything was normal the next day, right? Even yesterday, right now, her Instagram stories are still up that she posted about 20-ish hours ago. So we know that it was still, these were posted after she was arrested. After she was arrested for a DUI, a hit and run. She lied to the police, moved her car, parked it, and then started walking as she was out walking her dog. And then they realized she was inebriated and realized it was a much bigger deal than that. Oh my God. First of all, did the people inside the house know that she hit the house? Doesn't sound like it was that big of a deal, but I also don't know how close this house was, how much front yard it has. So I'm fascinated by that to see how much damage, or if any, there was, or if they even knew anything happened. Are there tire tracks? Like, I want to see everything. I want all of these pictures. I want all the details. We know that Jeff told us today she was injured. He doesn't say what happened, but he also says she's canceled for Friday. She's, going over her injury, and she's also going to start counseling. But I am so curious. She must have a social media person that posts for her, or maybe these stories. Oh, I just thought of this. Maybe the stories that posted yesterday are what they call these scheduled stories. It was promoting her being on Jeff Lewis Live Friday, which no is not happening. She was also promoting an upcoming Tres Amigas 3 shows that's like after, I think the week or two after BravoCon. What was the other story? I thought there was 3. But there's like 3 there. So maybe it sounds like they were already scheduled. And maybe that's by one of her social media people. I don't know. It just seems tone deaf. Like, still promoting this stuff after you've been arrested. Did they think the news wouldn't get out? Did they think they had done a good enough job of covering it up? I don't know. Tell me your thoughts, y'all. I'm very happy nobody was injured. I'm so confused on where she was going, what she was doing. Why was Archie in the car? To me, I have a dog. I have a big dog like Archie. We have a black lab. If you have that dog and you are driving while under the influence, to me, that's very similar to driving a kid under the influence. She loves Archie. She would never want anything to happen to Archie, right? But if she was injured in this wreck, don't you think Archie had to have been injured a little bit? I don't know. I don't know if it's new, but I've already seen people posting about, wait, she was leaving John's house. Oh, how do you know that? Wait, Wendy, tell me. Are you guessing? I don't know. Well, clearly it's a bad example for her 3 older daughters. And I feel terrible because they're already away at college, right? One is in Paris, I think, studying. The other one is, I think, in New York City at Parsons. And then the other one goes to Baylor here in Texas. So I'm assuming nobody was home with them. I think one or all had been home recently for something. Somebody says John's house. And I'm assuming John lives near her because even though she's got this new rental, I'm assuming she stayed in the same area. I don't know. Yeah. Alyssa says they've said she's an alcoholic for the last 5 seasons. I mean, lots of people have talked about her drinking. Lots of people talk about a lot of people's drinking. But they definitely talk about Shannon and her like drunk calling people and giving a lot of details apparently about John Jansen. And then she tries to either deny it or she doesn't want that information out there. I think she's had, Gina's living her best life, somebody said. I mean, the way Gina has to be like, happy nothing happened, happy nobody was hurt or injured, well, however Shannon was injured, we just don't know yet the details on that. But, knowing the things that Shannon has come at Gina for her DUI, and then saying that CPS should come and take her kids. So I've seen lots of comments on that. Clearly, I don't think you can take 3 adult children, but somebody said that they need to take Archie away from her. I think that's a stretch. I think it's a terrible mistake. Just like Jeff said, Jeff is very vocal about him not even driving after 1 drink. Not everyone is like that, right? We all go to restaurants and I see people having 2 or 3 drinks, the husband and the wife or the couple, and then they, somebody's got to drive home, right? Clearly it was a terrible decision. I'm assuming something was going on with John. Just because he wasn't with her, and I think they are, he was with her the night before. She says they're not dating. I don't know what they're doing, if they're friends, whatever. I don't know. They don't seem to be a good fit together, right? Shannon never said CPS needed to take the kids. She meant on the other parent was home, so CPS would have taken the kids. I hope she leaves John alone. He is bad news. I don't even know if he's bad news. I think some people just escalate each other, and I don't think together they're good, right? Clearly, they have some emotions for each other, because you can't get that mad at somebody if you don't have emotions for them. She says they're best friends. I don't believe that at all. Her girls are more responsible for her than her. But we've seen that before. I would almost say Teresa Giudice's kids are more responsible. I mean, Gia was definitely like the mom to Teresa. I mean, I don't know. Yes, Shannon's extremely lucky she didn't hurt anybody. She's not going to rehab as of yet. I guess she's going in for counseling. So you have to recognize at something like this. And I wonder how much she drinks a week. I wonder if she's drinking on a random Tuesday, or if it's only like a social drinking. I don't know. Is she drinking alone? Is she drinking I don't know. We don't know. There's so much. All I do know is that I'm shocked that this story didn't come out until Monday morning. I have to assume Jeff kept his mouth shut. He said that she called him yesterday. So I'm assuming that means he didn't call Kelly. Kelly Dodd seems to know everything that goes on in Newport. I am shocked she didn't know about it. And if she did know about it, I think she would have just chosen not to say anything. She would have chosen not to say anything about it. What do you think? Dr. Moon's got to be so disappointed. The way she and Dr. Moon are doing this colonic system together, though, because she basically said her real for real, products is just kind of not making any money. It's not losing any money, and she needed some other form of income. So she's going into business with him. I don't know. If anyone would know how to stick things perfectly up their butt, I guess it would be Shannon Beador, right? Don't need that tip stuck up there again. She probably found out after she filmed. I think she's trying to avoid a DUI by getting out of the car. Yeah, for sure. But they're going to find, I don't know how far the car away. Alcohol makes you, it changes your decision making, right? It alters your decision making. That's why a lot of people choose to drink. They want their emotions. They want to go away from real life. But clearly it altered her decision making to just stay in the car and take it like a housewife. She's got a lot of people she could call. It's not like she can't get advice from people. Lots of people have been arrested while on Housewives. I don't know. Do you think a lawyer told her to get counseling for court purposes? I don't even know that it's gotten that far. I know she was released that night. I'm still waiting on the arrest picture. I'm expecting it to be really good. I'm expecting some mascara down. I don't know what, false eyelash on the cheek. I don't know. I'm expecting really good things from this arrest picture, though. I don't know. She probably got released this morning. Oh, that means she stayed in jail? No, I think it said she was released that night. It just doesn't say what time. So we don't know. 6 p.m., 2 a.m., we don't know. We don't know. Crazy. Well, keep telling me what you think in comments. Let's move on to Jeff Lewis Live. Was today the first day that Jennifer Tilly's been on? So I finally figured out why she was on. She's really, really good friends with Sutton Strack. So I guess they saw each other at a restaurant. Jennifer went over to Jeff and he said, "Oh, I would love for you to be on the show." I guess he DM'd her in her Instagram and she never read it. So somehow they figured out that, she needed to read her DMs. But yeah, not my favorite show, not my favorite guest, but I love that we all have opinions, because in the Jeff Lewis Obsessed Facebook group, which is a safe place to have your opinions, just not be unkind about it and ruthless, right? I said that I couldn't stand when she was singing for seemed like forever. And somebody else said, "Oh my God, I love that part. I thought it was hilarious. I loved her." So that's what I love about our Chumpette community, is we can all have different opinions, hearing the same content, and yet we all come to a different conclusion. I did not like when she was singing. I did not like hearing about how she memorizes her lines for a movie. I don't care about that. I just didn't think it was that interesting at all. Why do we have so many people on? I just looked up and there's over 300 on YouTube and 226 on Instagram. Shout out. I'm assuming y'all are either newbies or don't normally get to join live. So shout out for joining live. You loved her energy. The karaoke was hard to listen to. It just went on and on. I can't wait to watch the video later because I can just see Jeff being like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what Kian's video is that he makes. Kian makes the best videos. By the way, if you did not look at Monica Casey's, so Friday was Stu's birthday. So we know that like lots of the chumps were out. We also know Jeff Lewis was not in the pictures. Everyone was DMing them asking where Jeff was. I heard Jeff showed up later, so I don't know why. The only picture I saw of Saturday night's fun activities, we saw Fridays, of Saturday nights almost looked like some fans had seen them because I saw some pictures of people with Jeff Lewis, but I didn't know who the other people were. Like Stu was in there and Jeff. Can't remember who else. But anyways, there's a video of Monica Casey talking about the bread that was at the restaurant they were at. Apparently it was amazing bread. And Kian is next to her. I can tell you, I first met Kian in person. I've met him twice now. I met him at BravoCon, October 2022. And then I met him again in New York. I think that was December 2022 at Margaret Joseph's show. He has snatched himself up. His cheek, his jawline, oh my God. I think he's lost a little bit of weight. It's probably from just being involved with Jeff Lewis and being so, into appearances and stuff. But he looks really, really good, really good. Wait, Lola Gucci, hold on. She's lucky she didn't kill anyone or herself. I'm just shocked at all these jokes and comments. Lola Gucci, I do respect that you lost someone and that to drunk driving, and that makes you way more. Again, that's why I talk about our life experiences. You hear a story about Shannon Beador very differently than other people do. And I know people are making jokes about Archie, and I don't know if it's a new Instagram, but there's one called Archie Beador or something, and talking about people do tend to make jokes about serious things just because it's their way of coping with it. But I understand if someone is personally involved with drunk driving, you come at it way differently, and I totally respect that. But it is how different people relate to things for sure. Maria Lee says just lost 2 friends to a drunk driver. It is terrible, and we've all said that we're really glad she didn't hurt anyone, but I think she got hurt, and I can't imagine Archie didn't get some sort of hurt. I mean, a dog, like if she got hurt, like was she driving fast? Was she not? I don't even know. Okay. Sorry. Back to Jennifer Tilly. She's a professional poker player. She's been 20 years with her boyfriend. She's known from Chucky. So they did talk about like little kids seeing the Chucky horror movies. I can't stand scary movies. My kids and my husband love them. So they are along with, I don't know, about 8 years old seeing Chucky, but I definitely know there's little kids that see these scary movies and they are all about it for sure. Somebody says the TMZ article has lots of details. Did they update the article? Because it didn't really have a lot of details whenever I saw it this morning. But she did, Jennifer Tilly, she squeezed in there. There was a lot of little things squeezed in there today. She is paid $500. So I think Jeff must pay everybody $500 now for being a co-host, because she did talk about, cashing that check. She's very clear about she's in SAG, obviously, Screen Actors Guild, they're on strike. She goes in pickets on the picket line and stuff. So she's very involved in that. What else? I thought the after show was really good. Mercedes Javid and Jamie Kennedy. Jeff, and this was interesting. I think this is the first time, don't you think? This is the first time since Brandi and Julie were fired, let go, whatever, mutually decided, who knows, about SiriusXM, but the after show, that one of the co-hosts has come on. I think it's just been either nobody or Jeff and Shane, right? Oh, thank you, Love and Live. You look very pretty today. I didn't flat iron my hair. It just ran out of time. But also my kids are off school today. So everything's just a little bit different because I've got kids home and they're hanging out and chatting with me and stuff. So anyways, there's like a school in service day. So it means they're home, but the teachers have to teach. Um, oh yeah, those details, Nick James. Yeah. But also Jeff squeezes in there this story about a former employee who he's talking about. I'm positive is Jenny Poulos. He only says Jenny, but he says somebody went behind his back to talk to a client and pitch an idea for a show or a project, something at Disney. And that Disney person let him know and said, don't ever do that again because that was the worst pitch I've ever gotten. Then he goes on to say she also went at his contact for Disneyland to get discount tickets, and he was mortified. He said, I would rather pay the discount, the difference, than her going and using my name. So we know Jeff Lewis can't stand when people do that. He does not even like using his own name to get a discount, right? He is paying full price for this upcoming Universal Horror Nights, whatever it's called, the VIP tram. As much as he gives Universal free advertisement for that, and he's not getting a discount at all. Like, I think it should be free. First of all, I'm positive somebody already called in last week and said they tried to get tickets and it's already sold out for the day. So I don't know if that's normal. But anyone in that area that hears Jeff Lewis and 23 of his closest inner circle chumps are going to be there, they were definitely going to buy a ticket because I know, because y'all tell me for sure. But it was definitely Jenny Poulos. Okay, so a lot of the show was them talking about SAG projects. Jeff keeps talking about things, saying, well, I can talk about it, but because I'm not in SAG, but y'all can't. Well, that makes it very uncomfortable for them because Jamie and today's guest, Jennifer Tilly, are a SAG member. And so they're not supposed to talk about past projects, current projects, or future SAG projects. They can talk about like being on the theater or a commercial that wasn't SAG, but anything that's SAG, that is the rule. I don't know if it's a hard, fast rule. It's kind of the unwritten rule, it sounds like, that you just don't promote anything SAG because that just feeds their pocketbooks and they're all about the residuals or lack thereof that they don't get. So then, very interesting, they bring up Bethany's reality reckoning. And Jeff talks about that, basically saying, I'm not going to be involved in that because I don't feel like, he feels like he got paid very well on the front end for flipping out. So I don't think he has much interest. But we also know Jeff is really good with finances, like really good, like checks his bank account every freaking day, really good. So I think other people maybe have thought the reality bandwagon was going to last longer than it did. And when it dries up, they're left with no money in the bank. So MJ alludes to that, saying that basically people in the reality world should make residuals because if people keep making money off of them, now being on streaming services or promos, things like that, they've made these decisions and they made a contract not knowing that these streaming services were going to be used and then make more money on it. So it's a mess. But MJ definitely said she is not getting involved. She's not on board with the Bethany reality reckoning. So that was kind of new news. Jenny profited a lot from Jeff in many ways. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, residuals are important. I mean, I've told y'all that my family and I used to do commercials and a few small movies. And one of our biggest HEB commercials, when that grocery store commercial would air again, I would see more money in my bank account. It would just go straight in. So as for that was a SAG commercial. So that was, so there's all these rules whenever you're involved in a union project. And we didn't have to join SAG. And being in Houston, it didn't really make sense for us to join SAG because there's not enough projects here for us to do it. And thank goodness, because really all the commercials have died out as much in Houston and the Austin area. So I'm kind of glad we didn't join SAG. It's like $3,500 a person, maybe. I don't remember. I'm totally getting confused. But anyways, when you're in a SAG project, though, there's a lot more benefits and it's a union, so they protect a lot more, like how many hours you can work, how much money, the minimum you can make, what you make on certain things. It's kind of fascinating, actually. Oh, of course we covered the Shannon DUI, Amy. It's at the beginning. By the way, if you just got on, we always start at 12 o'clock Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern on Instagram Live and YouTube Live. The replay on both goes up immediately. Somebody was talking about this morning on DM. You can pause on Instagram and then go back and watch. It is a little bit easier. Shout out Houses with Holly. You live in Houston. By the way, if you're in the Houston area or any area and you want to meet other chumpettes, join the Jeff Lewis Obsessed Facebook group. That is the easiest way to chat about things, get to know each other. But that's where we'll also post meetups and stuff, because like a couple of us go to lunch or dinner every once in a while, maybe every 6 to 8 weeks in the Houston area. So we'll be doing that again this month, and I'll probably do it. I'll schedule it. Oh, maybe it'll be October. It'll be early October after I go out to LA for the September 30th Chef Stu and Amy Phillips event. So get your tickets if you can, realitybiteslive.com. And then I'll chat about that there, and then before BravoCon, and then we'll go to lunch or dinner after BravoCon, of course. But most everything I post is always going to be on Instagram stories, because it's just the quickest way to put stuff up quickly. So make sure you're following me on Instagram, but everything else under Jeff Lewis Obsessed also. Yes, Mary. Yes. Houses with Holly. Make sure to join the Facebook group. Plus, it's just such a good way, like I said, to chat about things. Sometimes we want to have a conversation. If you just have one subject and then people write underneath it, it's just an easier way to have a conversation about things. Oh, NW Shelley, Jeff didn't really talk about Stu's birthday. Do you think it didn't go well? I think clearly today was the first day back. I think it probably went well. I just think it was overshadowed by the Shannon Beador DUI thing. I mean, Jeff makes so many comments about not driving drunk, not even one drink. He oh my gosh, Dre's Kitchen. My son called 911 on himself when he hit a car drinking and driving. Shame on Shannon. Yeah, and I think I'm proud of your son, especially whatever age he was, to make that decision. That's a very, very respectful thing to do. Not everyone makes good choices when they're not drinking, but especially some people don't make good choices when they are drinking. So, one thing we don't know is even how drunk was she? I mean, that .08, I don't know. Y'all know I'm not a big drinker. I mean, I guess I just don't need, it's just not my thing. It's just not my thing. But 28 years old. That's very respectful. You raised him well. But I feel like some people don't make the right decisions when they're drinking, but I wonder how drunk was she? Did she make this decision and it didn't even have much to do with alcohol? Was she not even that drunk? I don't know. He probably didn't want to talk about partying in light of today's news. Yeah, and I really feel like that's kind of why. I feel like he was just kind of in a daze until he let us know that he did know about it. You kind of had to figure out he was going to talk about it for sure. But I felt like he was just kind of letting Jennifer Tilly like go on. And I don't feel like he would have done that had he been on 100%. I feel like he was kind of in a daze. I feel like if I watched the Jeff Lewis video tonight, then during the commercials, I feel like he's going to be texting a lot. And like, I'm sure so many of his chumps are texting him. A lot of people were confused if they were together when that happened, and they weren't. He wanted to make that very clear. Like, hello, I've done a lot of things, but I was not with Heather when somebody just said Heather. So I was not with Shannon Beador the night of this. They were together in Newport Friday night. And then Jeff and the party moved to West Hollywood when all the chumps were out. Monica, Kian, Shane wasn't there. Doug, who else was there, y'all? Pej, I'm missing people. Anyways, obviously Chef Stu, and then I guess Jeff joined later that night. They were in West Hollywood. So she was invited, but she said, no, I can't come, whatever. He assumed she was just staying home, not having any plans, but clearly she went out. So I'm sure all those details are going to start coming, out for sure. But yeah, what a mess. Anyways, just Josh, I quit in April. Maybe this will help her take a break. Yeah, I mean, I think alcohol can become a crutch for a lot of people. Also, on Housewives, it's kind of expected almost. And this is again where the whole reality reckoning thing gets into, where alcohol is just poured. Like you think about these uh, bachelor shows, you can tell these girls are just sloshed. It's coming out now that there'll be like not much food. They don't let them sleep much. They film all day long. They provide as much alcohol as you can. This is also what happens on the Real Housewives shows. So when it becomes sort of expected, I would assume they almost prefer you to have some. That's like if you go to a fancy store, okay? I don't go to them much, but I have been to a few. Shout out Colorinette who took me to oh shit, Tiffany's or somewhere fancy. Where was that? Anyways, and of course they offered us a glass of champagne. When you go somewhere fancy, it is worth it for them to spend some money on a little alcohol and let you get a little loosey-goosey while you're looking at all the stuff to buy, right? So to me, it's very similar with the Housewives. They kind of want you a little bit loosey-goosey with recording, and you might do some things that you may not have done had you not had alcohol in you. Yes, he did. They order food on the Housewives compared to The Bachelor, where you barely see them eat. You know, the only place I see them eat, and I'm here for it, Roni. Now, Sai takes it a little bit too far with talking about where's the food all the freaking time. But I do love that the people eat on Roni. They like really eat food. Like there's breakfast out, there's bacon, like they're really eating. Yeah. We have a few more minutes. We like to wrap it up at 45 minutes. Let me know any questions you have, any thoughts on it all. Make sure you're hitting the like button. I would really appreciate it. It helps with my engagement, my algorithm, all that kind of crap, what have you. Matter of fact, MJ, speaking of eating, MJ said on the after show, and Alyssa kind of said, yeah, that's why she's kind of bitchy all the time. She's hangry. But MJ was talking about how she just eats air and cucumbers and drinks water because she's trying to lose weight. And then Jamie was like, I want to see what Jamie's girlfriend looks like, by the way. I love these guys like Jamie. He said a lot of inappropriate things. If you don't love Jamie, maybe don't listen to today's after show, because he said a lot of things that as a comedian he can get away with, but like cancel culture is in full effect, right? Oh, thank you, Mikey. But anyway, so take a listen to today's Jeff Lewis after show. But he starts telling her, what term did he use? Not voluptuous. Maybe he said curvy. You know, women need to love their curvy bodies and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm curious to see. He basically said it's all about the personality and the vibe that you give, not necessarily, men are not necessarily into women's bodies. And I was like, I want to see what your girlfriend looks like. You know what I mean? His girlfriend is young, slim, and pretty, someone said. So, you know. Oh, he said husky? He did not use the word husky, did he, Bex? Oh my gosh. Dolly Girl said, I thought he was hilarious today on the after show. I did too. But I'm telling you, I could sense the uncomfortableness from Alyssa, who can't stand when she even brought up, he's kind of not known, but it's kind of come up since he's been on Jeff Lewis a lot lately. This famous comedy sketch that he does where he basically says women shouldn't talk much. They need to be in the kitchen. You know, that's kind of his shtick with that. So I thought it was funny that he said women need to be, I thought he did say curvy. Yeah, I don't think he said, yeah. Yes, he said that they can't say husky. Oh, okay. Can't say husky. Yeah, husky? That makes me think of those Sears jeans were like overweight little kids. I think they called it husky jeans. Oh, thank you. You like my lipstick. He said husky and corrected it to curvy. Okay, that makes more sense. You're the epitome of Bambi's friend flower. I don't know what that means. Is that a good thing? I don't even know. Was Jeff with Shannon yesterday? Not that I'm aware of, but then again, you have to realize Jeff lives in Hollywood. It's a solid hour away from Newport, and that's with no traffic. So they definitely weren't together the night that she had he made that very clear. I think he wants to support her, but he also wanted to make the facts very clear because people were confused because they were even messaging me, asking me. And I'm like, no, because I knew that Friday night is when he was going out with Shannon, and then Saturday night I'd seen the pictures, so Shannon was not with Stu that night. So, anyways. Well, we are going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining live. Please make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to comment. It helps. Make sure you're following me, subscribing. Everything is under Jeff Lewis Obsessed on all social media. Thank you, Chumpettes. It is so much fun to join live. So thank you for joining. Bye, y'all. Bye, YouTube.